Hello, we are live. Sorry about that. We are live. We are looking Baltimore and I just drew a blank. Miami Marlins. Miami leads 3-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. Obviously with Miami batting. It is 1-2 to the third baseman of the Marlins, Berger, with Irvin on the hill for Baltimore. He lofts it to right field. Kerstead catches it. That ends the 5th inning here in Miami. Let me get this all right. Right, so coming up for Baltimore in the 6th inning will be Adelaide Rutschman, Anthony Santander, and Ryan O'Hearn. All right. It is 3-0 Marlins. We will be entering the top of the 6th. Baltimore, 60 wins and 40 losses. They're first in the AL East. Miami is 5th in the NL East, 36 and 65. Again, we start with Adley Rutschman, the catcher for the Orioles, then designated hitter Anthony Santander, then Ryan O'Hearn, who's playing first base tonight. And if anybody gets on, Heston Kerstead, right fielder, will be batting. All right, here we are. In between innings, let's catch up on some other scores if we can. Yeah, I need a third screen here. I really do. All right, San Diego is all over Washington, 11-3 in the top of the 4th. They're in Washington. Mets lead the Yankees in the Bronx, top of 4, 2 outs. Tampa Bay is down 2-1 against Toronto in Canada. Detroit and Cleveland are knotted up at 1 in the top of the 6th with 1 out. Earlier today, Pittsburgh beat St. Louis 5-0. Cincinnati beat Atlanta in 10, 9-4. Milwaukee beat Chicago Cubs 3-2. First pitch to Rutschman. Rutschman is 0 for 2 tonight. He struck out once and left 2 men on base. He's batting 270 for the season. Orioles catcher Andrew Adley Rutschman is up to the plate. He's a left-handed hitting catcher, which is always valuable in the major leagues. The count now is 2-1, 2 balls, 1 strike. We're in the top of the 6th, where Miami leads 3-0. On the hill is Cabrera for Miami. Rutschman hits it to the shortstop, throws on to first, and that's the first out of the top of the 6th. Boy, those New Jerseys are really bad on these gray uniforms. You can see Baltimore sweat stains, or you can see their sweat on these jerseys. I really, really hate these jerseys. Edward Cabrera has pitched 5 and 1/3 innings. He's only allowed 1 hit. He's walked 3 and struck out 6. Now to Anthony Santander. He takes a strike. Count is 0-1 to Santander. Next pitch is a foul. It is 0-2 to Santander. Santander tonight is 0-2 with a strikeout. He's batting 241 on the season. He is Baltimore's DH tonight from the left side. Here's the pitch from Cabrera. It's a swing and another foul back. He gets his mulligan. All right. So, as I said earlier, Baltimore is 60-40. They're in first place in the AL East. Cabrera steps off, grabs the rosin bag. Santander gets in the box. Do we have seconds here? I'm just watching the live feed. Cabrera, 2-pitch. Here it is. Low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's another collectible as they throw that out of bounds because it hit the dirt. So they'll be putting a little sticker on that and selling it in the collectible authenticated store. Next pitch from Cabrera. Swing. Another foul off to the third base side. We'll be doing this again. Anthony Santander, DH. He's 0 for 2 tonight, betting 241 on the season. Edward Cabrera, the pitcher, has a 1. No, that's his whip. I was going to say his ERA. Here's the pitch. He swings to right center, and it is a single to first. So Santander is on with 1 out. His exit velocity was 100.4 miles per hour on that. Supposedly he hit it 379 feet, but I don't know what that means because the ball bounced. So I guess it's 379 feet in the air. All these stats now are overdoing it a little bit in baseball. Do we have anybody on the line yet? I hope you're watching. We have Baltimore at Miami with Baltimore down 3-0 in the top of the 6th. Edward Cabrera is pitching for the Marlins. Santander's on at first. It's funny. Some of these, I use different websites to get updates and things like that. Ryan O'Hearn will be batting now for Baltimore. He is 0 for 2 tonight. He's betting 277 on the season. He's also from the left side with a runner on first. That's Anthony Santander. Here's the pitch. A swing and a single to right. Gets down. The right fielder makes a nice play, but Santander is moving to third. So we will have runners on first and third for the Orioles with Heston Kjerstad up. He's also 0 for 2 tonight. So a bunch of 0 for 2 guys. The last 2 have singled to left, or have singled to center or right center. We have Anthony Santander at third. We have Ryan O'Hearn at first. It's the top of the 6th. Edward Cabrera is pitching. He's thrown 86 pitches tonight. Kjerstad has struck out twice. He's 0 for 2. The ball's in the dirt. Another collectible. They throw it off. It'll get a sticker and be sold in the authenticated store. So they don't waste. Major League Baseball doesn't waste those balls anymore. They don't go to BP anymore. So it's 1 ball, no strikes, 2 on, 1 out for Baltimore, facing Miami. Here's the pitch. Down low in the dirt. 2-0. 2-0 with runners on first and third for Baltimore. See if I can get you any other statistics here. That last pitch, that last ball is 97 miles an hour. Here is the pitch. O'Hearn at first, Santander at third. It is low. It's 3-0 to Kjerstad. Edward throws Cabrera, and it's outside. He walked him. That's the bases loaded now. And they're going to come out, and it looks like Skip Schumacher is going to make a pitching change. They had somebody warming up. That last pitch was a 95-mile-an-hour ball. So he walked on 4 pitches. Edward Cabrera has thrown 90 pitches tonight. Westberg for the Orioles will be batting. Jordan Westberg, the second baseman. He is 0 for 2 tonight. So 2 singles, a walk gets the Marlins to pull their starting pitcher, Edward Cabrera. And while they're changing pitchers, let's look at some of the scores. All right. Let me just update some of this stuff to make sure. Detroit and Cleveland 1-1. San Diego crushing Washington in Washington, end of fourth, 11-3. The Mets are still up on the Yankees, bottom of the fourth with 1 out. Toronto is beating Tampa Bay in Toronto, end of 5. Chicago and Texas just started. It's the bottom of the first with 1 out, 0-0. And top of the first with 1 out, Arizona is at Kansas City, and they're tied 0-0. Earlier today, Pittsburgh beat St. Louis 5-0. Houston walloped Oakland 8-1. Colorado, get this, Colorado crushed Boston in Colorado 20-7. That's correct. That's a football score, 20-7. So 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals versus 1 touchdown. The Angels beat Seattle 2-1. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 3-2. Cincinnati beat Atlanta in 10 innings, 9-4. So Edward Cabrera leaves after 5 1/3. He'd given up 3 hits, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts on 90 pitches. He had 54 strikes. The new pitcher for the Marlins, they're going to tell me in just a second here, is Huskar Brazoban. Huskar Brazoban, a right-hander. He's been in 17 games with a record of 1-2. Here's the first pitch to Westberg of the Orioles. Outside, ball 1. Westberg is 0 for 2. Bases loaded tonight, only 1 out. Obviously, the Marlins are looking for the double play. Baltimore's looking for a hit. Westberg takes a strike right down the middle. The count is 1-1 to Jordan Westberg, the Orioles' second baseman. That last pitch was 93 miles an hour. Here's the pitch. Swing and a pop fly. Is it out of play? The catcher's under it and makes the play. So Miami comes back and gets 1 out. That's Ali Sanchez, who caught the ball for Miami. So there is now 2 outs with the bases loaded here in the top of the 6th. And we have Husker Brazoban pitching. He came on relief of Edward Cabrera. We're in the top of the 6th. Miami leads 3-0. Now pitching is Colton Cowser. He swings and misses for strike 1. He's 0. The count is 0-1. To Cowser, the left fielder for Baltimore. Here's the pitch. Low. 1 ball, 1 strike. That was 89 miles an hour. There was a changeup, in case you're wanting to know. Next pitch from Brazoban. Outside. Good eye on Cowser there. Just outside. It'll be 2 balls and 1 strike. Cowser tonight is 1 for 1. He is batting .228 on the season. The pitch, a swing and a ball down the right field line. That's going to score a few. In comes 1 run. In comes a second run. There, the ball gets away from I think the second baseman. the Orioles scored 3 runs, so he clears the bases on what is probably a single, with advancement over to second, possibly an error because the ball got away from the second baseman. I don't know. I'm watching this on TV. He hits it down the left field line. Let's watch this. They're showing a replay right now. Cowser over the first baseman's head, down into the right field corner. The runners are coming in. That is a stand-up double for Cowser. It's a stand-up double for Cowser. All right. It's his 15th double of the season. We now are tied. It's a new ball game, and a strike like a ceiling fan right through it for the new Baltimore hitter, Cedric Mullins, who is the center fielder. So Cedric is hitting with runner on second, and now we have a new ball game at 3-3. That was a ball low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Christina, I say hi. Hope all is well. We have Baltimore and Miami. It's a new ball game. Here's the pitch and he hits it down to first base, flips to the pitcher, and he just gets him. That is the 3rd out. Brazoban finishes the inning, but not before the Orioles score 3 to tie things up here. We move to the bottom of the 6th. Let me see if I can tell you who's coming up here. If one of the 18,000 screens I have up can tell us. Yes, Josh Bell, Jesus Sanchez, and Otto Lopez coming up for Miami here in the bottom of the 6th. We're going to take a little break, and we'll come back when they come back. All right, let's get back to the game here. As I said, Josh Bell will be batting first in the bottom of the 6th against Jacob Webb, who is a new pitcher for Baltimore. And then we have, hold on, where did that go? We have Jacob Webb, and then Jesus Sanchez is on deck. He pitched last night, Jacob Webb. No, he didn't. That was just a stat on the screen. I apologize. So many things coming at me. Jacob Webb has been in 47 games. He's 1-4 with a 2.49 ERA. He has a ratio of strikeouts to walks at 44-21. It is 3-3 here in the bottom of the 6th. The first pitch to Bell is a ball. So it's 1-0 to Bell right now. Next pitch is outside, ball 2. Josh Bell, the first baseman for the Marlins, up at the plate, batting from the left side. He gets a called strike 1, so the count is 2-1, bottom of the 6th. Bell is 2 for 2 tonight. He's hit a home run, solo home run, that is. On deck is Jesus Sanchez. He's 1 for 1 with a walk and a single. Bell hits a foul up over the left field out of play for a fan. Bell walks. It's an outside pitch from Webb, and he walked him. So there's one runner on, nobody out here in the bottom of the sixth. It was an 84-mile-an-hour changeup that he could not get over the plate. So Bell is on, and now Jesus Sanchez, who is 1 for 1, a single and a walk tonight. He takes up high, ball one. That was 94 miles an hour fastball to Jesus Sanchez with Josh Bell on at first. Takes a strike right down the middle. 83-mile-an-hour changeup right down central. So it is 1-1 to Jesus Sanchez. And here's the pitch from Webb. Outside, 2-1. Nobody out here. Bottom of the sixth. Score is tied 3-3. Jacob Webb pitching for Baltimore. Here's the pitch. Up high. He gets the call. It's 2-2. Now, again, I'm looking at this on screen. There's a box on the screen, so he probably hit part of it. It just touched the outside corner. Next pitch, swinging a little foul. Is it foul? First baseman gets the ground ball and steps on first, but it looks like it went foul. O'Hearn had it. All right, Webb now. This will be his 12th pitch in relief. Jesus Sanchez still at the plate, 2-2 count. Nobody out. Josh Bell on at first. Here's the pitch from Webb. Outside, he hits it to third. Third baseman throws to the short, and they cannot throw to first. But they get the fielder's choice, the lead runner at least. So now there's one out, runner on first. Sanchez on at first. And I don't have the volume on. I guess they just ate that ball. I guess he was already down at first. All right. So now we have Lopez up. Otto Lopez for Miami. He takes a ball outside. An 84-mile-an-hour slider from Jacob Webb. 1-0 the count. One out. The pitch from Webb. Just catches the outside corner. 1-1 to Otto Lopez. That was another slider, 83 miles an hour. Like I said, just caught the outside corner. Here's the next pitch. Oh, Webb throws over the first. He's safe. Wasn't that close of a play. The score's tied 3-3. Baltimore scored all three in the top of the sixth. Miami scored all three of their runs in the bottom of the fifth. Miami trying to get a tally here with one on and one out in the bottom of the sixth and a 1-1 count to Lopez. Here's the pitch from Webb. The runner going, the swing and a miss, and there's no throw to second. So it looks to be a stolen base. There was no throw down to second. And the count is 1-2. It's a swinging. He swung, he missed, and the catcher did not throw the ball. So Rutschman did not throw down to second. All right. Lopez now. Swing, and he fouls it down the first base side, out of play. Webb gets a new ball, rubs it up. Sanchez, or Lopez rather, betting 251. Here's the pitch. A swing and a low. He caught it. The second base, it was a liner to second, a soft liner to second. He caught the ball. Westberg caught the ball and then stepped on second for the double play. And that will end the 6th inning. We're going to move on to the 7th right now. And let's check those scores. I don't know how long I'll be on tonight. So, all right. In Washington, San Diego still taking everything it can to Washington. They're winning 12-3. In Texas, the White Sox are losing 1-0 in the top of the second. Kansas City and Arizona are in the top of the second, tied at 0-0. Tampa Bay's in Toronto. They're tied 2-2 in the top of the sixth. The Mets have opened up their lead on the New York Yankees. It's the middle of the fifth. The Mets lead 5-2. And Detroit and Cleveland, which seems, I mentioned it a lot last night, I mentioned it again tonight. They're tied, like they have been a lot, 1-1 at the end of 7 innings. As I mentioned earlier today, Colorado demolished the Red Sox 20-0. The winning pitcher for Colorado was Quantrill. He's 7-7. The losing pitcher was Pivetta, 4-7. Colorado scored 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, 5 in the fourth, none in the fifth, 6 in the sixth, 1 in the seventh for 20 runs on 21 hits. Boston had 7 runs on 11 hits, but they committed 4 errors. Colorado just committing 1 error. All right, we're moving to the top of the 7th. We have Ramon Arias up, then the top of the lineup, Gunnar Henderson, who's 0 for 2 tonight, and then the catcher, Adley Rutschman, who's 0 for 3. Ramon Arias is batting .239. He is 0 for 2 tonight. Here's the pitch from Brazoban. Brazoban's still in the game for Miami, and he pitches to Arias. Or nope, it's a new pitcher. It's Nardi. Everything didn't update yet. Andrew Nardi. He has a whip of 1.25. He has an ERA of 5.17. And he's been in 47 games with a record of 1-1. Here's the next pitch. It is up high, a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. That ball was a fastball, actually, at 93 miles an hour. The next pitch, swinging a pop foul out of play. That brings the count to 2-2. We're in the top of the 7th. Baltimore and Miami are tied 3-3. Third baseman Arias for Baltimore's batting against Nardi for Miami. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He struck him out on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. So Arias goes to sit down. And next up is the really fun player to watch, Gunnar Henderson. He is 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. He's batting from the left side. He takes a strike. That was 93 miles an hour. Next pitch from Nardi. He half swing, they check. He did not go around. So it's going to be 1 ball, 1 strike. That pitch he just checked was 94 miles an hour. The next pitch from Nardi. Outside, ball 2 to Gunnar Henderson, all-star Gunnar Henderson. Henderson is batting .285 on the season. I think he's still stuck on 28 home runs. Next pitch from Nardi. Outside, a little low. 3-1 to Henderson. Are they putting him on? Nardi now has 9 pitches on the inning. Henderson waits, and the pitch from Nardi. Swinging a foul back. That'll make it full Three balls, two strikes, top of the seventh. There is bullpen. Foucher up for Miami. Nardi waits while Henderson steps out and digs in. He's ready to bat. Nardi looks to be ready to pitch. There's nobody on base. Here's the pitch from Nardi. Swinging another foul out of play. First base side. Another souvenir. Nobody on base. One out. 3-2 count to Gunnar Henderson. We have pitchers in both bullpens who are in, maybe they're not warming up this second, but here's the pitch. It is a strike on the corner, struck him out looking. So nobody on, two outs, and that brings up catcher Adley Rutschman for Baltimore. Nardi just caught the outside corner. I mean, if you looked at that graph or that box they have on the screen here, you'd see that he was just on the outside corner. Do we have anybody else watching this game tonight? No, we do not. This is all right. Nardi and the next batter, Rutschman. He swings and it's a pop up. Looks to be on the infield. First baseman in foul territory. He's under it. Josh Bell catches it. So we move to the bottom of the seventh. The score is still 3-2-3, Orioles and Miami. All right, we're going to take a little break here, save my voice, and we'll be right back. Okay, in the bottom of the seventh, it'll be Xavier Edwards, who's 1-for-1 tonight. He's batting .343 on the season. Then Nick Gordon, who's 0-for-1 tonight, batting .233. Then Ali Sanchez, who's 0-for-2, batting .200 on the season. If any of them get on, it'll be the top of the lineup, Jazz Chisholm, who is 0-for-3 tonight. Their center fielder. All right. So let's check some scores while we're at it. See if anything has changed. Doesn't look like Tampa Bay's in Toronto. It's the bottom of the sixth. They're tied 2-2. Chicago's at Texas in the bottom of the second. They're tied 1-1. The Mets are at the Yankees. The Mets are up 5-2 in the bottom of the fifth. Arizona's beating Kansas City 1-0 in Kansas City. They're in the bottom of the second. San Diego still with that large lead over Washington in Washington, 12-3, and Detroit and Cleveland are knotted up at 1. It's the middle of the eighth. And as I said earlier today, Colorado destroyed Boston 20-7. In our game right now, the one we're following, Baltimore and Miami are knotted up at 3. It will be the bottom of the seventh coming up. And as I said, Xavier Edwards will be batting first. Do we have a new pitcher? I'm trying to figure that one out. They will tell us in a second here, I guess. Nope, Webb is still pitching. It's 1 ball and no strikes to Edwards. Xavier Edwards. Who's batting .343 on the season. Second pitch, a single to left. He will be on with nobody out here in the bottom of the seventh. So Webb has thrown 19 pitches. And he now will be facing, it looks like that's it for Webb. Here comes the manager. See, when I don't have the sound on the game because I don't want to get in trouble, I don't always know anything until it's up on the screen. So we will take another break, and I am going to just put myself on mute for a little bit, and I'll be back in 1 minute. Let's get that game back on. All right, it's the bottom of the seventh. We just had a pitching change. We have Cionel Perez up. He's been in 32 games, record 1-0, and his ERA is 4.08. Cionel, is that right? Perez? All right. He will be facing for Miami Xavier Edwards. No, he'll be facing Gordon. Sorry, my bad. He tries to bunt, but it goes foul on the third base side. I think the ball might have hit one of his fingers on that bunt, or they're not showing me a replay, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think it might have hit a finger on the bunt. Let's see. Yeah, he didn't pinch the bat. It hit his left fist. He's a left-handed batter, so the left hand goes down the bat for the bunt, and it literally hit probably his middle ring finger and pinky, or at least two or three of those fingers. So he's in pain. You really, when you bunt like that, you got to pinch the bat. You can't expose it. You got to put that hand that extends out behind the bat, so the bat is actually protecting it from just this type of scenario. So, it's just the little fundamentals sometimes that these guys don't go over, don't practice. And you get hit like this, you break a couple bones in your hand and in your fingers specifically, you can't really play baseball. I mean, you're going to be out for a while. It doesn't take long to heal, but it's going to hurt for quite some time. So Gordon is 0 for 1 tonight with an RBI. And that was a strike. Like I said, the bunt went down third base foul area. So Gordon is batting .233 on the season. He's left two runners on. He's struck out once tonight. He's 0 for 1 with an RBI. So I'm guessing he had a sacrifice earlier in the game. We've just started broadcasting from the 6th inning on. The game is tied 3-3. Perez pitching for Baltimore. Another bunt, but it's low and away. So the count will be 1-1. He showed bunt, but he pulled the bat back, Nick Gordon. So, it was a sacrifice in the fourth. So that's why he's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Perez pitching for Baltimore. He's showing bunt again. It's inside, ball 2. It's 2-1. That was an 82-mile-an-hour slider from Perez. Gordon steps in again, the left fielder for Miami. On deck is Sanchez for Miami. Ali Sanchez. He pops it up, the bunt, and there goes out of bounds. So it will be 2 balls and 2 strikes here in the bottom of the 7th for Gordon. Nick Gordon, the left fielder, who had a sacrifice in the 4th and struck out earlier in the game. Ali Sanders is on deck. He's 0 for 2 tonight. The catcher for Miami. Pitching, as I mentioned earlier, is Cionel Perez. They just show me the whip, but he's 1.33 whip. Here's the pitch from Perez. Outside, the ball gets away from the catcher, and the runner's down to second, easily down to second. So we go from no outs, runner on first, possible double play, to now no outs, runner on second. And that's what they were trying to do with all the bunts anyway. So they really lucked out with that ball getting away from Rushman, the catcher for Baltimore. And it just gets away. He couldn't handle it. It went to his left, almost down the third baseline in the foul territory area. Next pitch from Perez. Outside, he walked him. So there will be 2 runners on, nobody out here for Baltimore. Perez has just thrown 6 pitches. So Gordon down to first with that hand that probably still hurts. And that'll bring in Ali Sanchez, the catcher. He struck out and he hit into a fielder's choice. Struck out in the 3rd, hit into a fielder's choice in the 4th. We're now in the bottom of the 7th. And Perez still pitching for Baltimore. It's 3-3 here. There's nobody out and runners on at first and second. So, possible great inning here for Miami if they can get a hit with Sanchez up at the plate. Perez looks at the runner at first and throws. He squares the bunt. It's a good one down the third base line. No other play but to first. So all the two runners advance to second and third. There's one out now. So what that does is it puts a single in play that could score two runs at this point. So great job by Sanchez to produce a heck of a great bunt down the third base line. That brings up Chisholm, and he is 0 for 3 tonight. He's batting 249 on the season, the center fielder for Miami. Here is a mound visit by the Orioles, probably to settle everybody down. Perez, that is, the pitcher, more than anything else. While they're talking, Perez has thrown 7 pitches. He will be facing Chisholm for Miami, the center fielder, who's 0 for 3. There is one out. Runners are on at second and third. That's Xavier Edwards at third, Nick Gordon, the left fielder, on at second. And on deck is De La Cruz, Brian De La Cruz, the right fielder. So first they got to deal with Chisholm, who is batting from the left side. Again, he's 0 for 3 tonight. He's the leadoff hitter for Miami. He swings and puts it out of play down the third base side, rather. And that was a 96-mile-an-hour pitch, so probably one of the faster pitches from Perez in his almost 2 innings of work. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ball down the third baseline. That's probably going to at least score one. The left fielder throws down to second, and I have to see because they did score 2. That's what I thought. I don't know if it'll be ruled a double, but Chisholm makes it to second, and both runners on base score. That was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. He hit it in play from Perez, and now Miami's up 5-3 with Brian De La Cruz up to bat. They're showing the replay on TV. He hit it just down third base side over the third baseman's head to the left fielder. Left fielder then looking, he threw on to second to try to avoid Chisholm from making it to second, but he made it in safely. And that brings up Brian De La Cruz, the right fielder for Miami. Perez still pitching now with only a runner on at second. That's Chisholm. 1 out. Ball low. 1-0. That was 83 miles an hour. To De La Cruz. De La Cruz is 0 for 3 tonight. He's batting 238 on the season. The next pitch, inside, ball 2. I always wonder sometimes if these pitchers are so exact that they throw pitches that they know won't be strikes. Next pitch, swinging off his right leg, so that's going to hurt. The count now 2-1. It's almost like, and I don't know that they do it on purpose, but sometimes I've been watching all these games very closely, and with first base open, it's almost like they're not going to give him too much to hit. And here's the next pitch from Perez. Swinging a ball down the first base. It gets between the first baseman and the second baseman. The throw from right field. He is safe. It's down the line at third. Runner stays at first. That's another run for Miami as Chisholm comes home. De La Cruz stops at first. So at this point, the double play is still in order. He went the other way with it. Hit it between the first baseman and the second baseman. And Baltimore now down 6-3. It just got between O'Hearn and Westberg on the right side of the infield. So we have 1 out, 1 on. And we have Berger batting now for Miami. Jake Berger, who's 0 for 3 tonight. And he's batting 229 on the season. He did strike out once tonight. 1-0 the count. The pitch, swinging a foul ball down the third base side, it looks like. Okay. It is 1 ball and 1 strike. When I'm hesitant like that, looks like he flied out to right field twice and struck out the other time. That's a Burger, that is the third baseman for Miami, who's up at the plate with a 1-1 count, bottom of the seventh. Here's the pitch. Swinging another foul ball. He got in front of it down the third baseline, foul. As I was saying, sometimes when I sound a little hesitant, it's because the pictures on the screen that I'm watching don't move fast enough, so I'm not 100% sure where it goes because I'm not listening to the game. I'm only watching the game. Next pitch from Perez, his 17th of the game. Swing and a miss. It was looks like it might have been in the dirt or the catcher caught it, but there's a runner at first. So he is out. That's the second out. That's a swinging strikeout for Perez. It hit the dirt before it went into the catcher's glove, and then the catcher didn't really hold on to the ball. But with a runner on at first, it doesn't really matter. Next batter is Josh Bell, the first baseman for Miami. He hits it to the pitcher who had to go to his right. He throws the first, and that is the end of 7, but not before Miami has their own 3 runs here, making it 6-3 heading into the 8th. So we were tied going into the bottom of the 7th. Now it is 6-3 Miami. Let's check some of the scores. But before that, just to let you know, due up in the 8th inning for Baltimore is Anthony Santander, who's 1 for 3 tonight, batting .243 on the season. Then the first baseman, Ryan O'Hearn, who's 1 for 3 tonight, batting .279 on the season. And then Heston Kirstand, who is 0 for 2 tonight, batting .286. He is playing right for Baltimore. Let's check those scores real quick. See if I can even find some of the scores. Gosh darn it. Okay, I have so many things open. All right. Top of the 7th in Washington, San Diego holding on to that 12-3 lead. Chicago at Texas. Chicago leading 2-1, top of the 3rd. Arizona and Kansas City are tied at 1 in the bottom of the 3rd in Kansas City. The Mets still hold that 5-2 lead against the Yankees. They're in the top of the 6th. And someone finally broke the deadlock tie between Detroit and Cleveland. Cleveland now leads 2-1 in the top of the 9th with 1 out. They're in Cleveland, so if Cleveland can get 2 more outs, it'll be a 2-1 victory for the Guardians. The game tonight, Miami scored 3 runs in the 4th. Baltimore scored 3 runs in the 6th. Then Miami tallied another 3 runs in the 7th. Baltimore 3-4-0. Miami 6-8-0. So Baltimore's literally having them with hits and runs. The new pitcher is Calvin Foucher. It's probably Foucher. Calvin Foucher. He's been in 35 games, 2-1 with a 3.28 ERA. He's a right-hander, and he now has the lead in the game. And it looks like, what would that mean? That means Nardi would probably get the win. Sorry about that alarm. All right. Anthony Santander from the left side is up. He takes low, ball 1 here to start the 8th. That was 96 miles an hour. What a pitch. Santander is the DH tonight. He's 1 for 3. Here's the pitch. It is a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Santander. That was a 96 mile an hour fastball. All right. 1-1 the count. 6-3 Marlins lead. Swing and a miss, an inside pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes here in the top of the 8th. He's a cutter sinker pitcher. Next pitch, low, but he called it a strike. Must have caught part of the zone. That was a called looking on Santander. That's the first out in the top of the eighth for Baltimore. Just must have caught the bottom of the zone there. Yeah, just the corner. Catcher framed it pretty well. Sanchez framed it very well. Foucher, next pitch to O'Hearn, the first baseman. Low and in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. That'll be another collectible. They'll put that little silver sticker on it and sell it in the authenticated store at well, they're in Miami, so it's not Camden Yards. All right, the next pitch from Foucher. Swing and a foul down the right field line. Yeah, foul ball. Right, Foucher has 5 pitches. 6 pitches, rather. They just counted that. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Marlins up 6-3. Here's the pitch. Swinging a pop out of play on the third base side. Foucher gets a new ball. There is Akin warming up in the Baltimore pen. So we'll probably see a new pitcher here in the bottom of the eighth for the Orioles. Here's the pitch, way outside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Kerstead is on deck, the right fielder for Baltimore. All right, the pitch to O'Hearn, right down the middle, 97 miles an hour. Second, backwards K for Foucher. All right, 2 outs, nobody on. Kerstead up to bat, the right fielder. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Swings at a low pitch. So it's no balls, 1 strike on Kerstead. Kerstead batting .286 on the season. He struck out twice tonight, and he's walked once. He does have a run. That would have been the 1 inning that they scored all their runs in the 6th. Outside, ball 1, count 1-1. We're in the top of the 8th here in Miami. Miami leads 6-3. There are 2 outs and nobody on for Baltimore. The next pitch from Foucher to Kerstead. Low and in the dirt, 87 miles an hour. It is 2-1 to Kerstead. Foucher has 2 strikeouts this inning. He's just started this inning. He has 2 caught looking. Next pitch, up high, just out of the zone. That makes it 3-1. Foucher, this will be his 14th pitch of the inning. This one to Kerstead, the right fielder for Baltimore. Here it is. Right down central. That makes the count full. The Marlins lead 6-3 in the top of the 8th here. Baltimore lost yesterday, trying not to lose 2 in a row here. The next pitch, up high and outside. He walked him. So Baltimore gets a runner here in the top of the 8th, down 6-3. And let me just look up that score from yesterday, if I can figure this out. Oh, man. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Baltimore lost 6-3 last night. So I knew that number looked familiar. All right. Jordan Westberg, the second baseman for Baltimore, stands in. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He took a strike, and the next pitch was a strike on the outside corner. So when it's going tough, it's going tough. Westberg is batting .271 on the season. There are 2 outs. The count is 0-2. There is a runner at first. That's Kerstead, the right fielder. And Foucher is pitching his 18th pitch Throwing his 18th pitch of the inning to Westberg. Here it is. Outside, he hits it right to the second baseman, who throws to the shortstop, and they get the lead runner. That's 3 outs. We're going to move to the bottom of the 8th. Let's just take a 30 to 60-minute break here to make sure my voice remains intact. But outside of that, we will be back at it right after. All right, we're getting back into it. I should have made a good thumbnail before this game. I think that's not helping me, not having a good thumbnail. So I'm in the process of also creating thumbnails while I'm at it. So let's see what we have live. Let's see if I can even do this. It looks like I can. Update thumbnail. Why is it not? Screenshot. Did I not save that? Let me see. Okay. We're going to be back at the game here. Okay. First pitch to start the bottom of the 8th. It's pitcher Akin for Baltimore. He throws a 4-seam fastball and a slider most of the time to Sanchez, the DH, who's 1 for 2 tonight. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. In the bottom of the 8th, it's 6-3. Marlins. Next pitch is up high. That'll make it 2-2. And next pitch, caught looking. Threw it right by him. Just had 5 pitches. And that is Keegan Akin, who has a whip of 1.00. He will be facing Lopez now, the second baseman for Miami. Otto Lopez, batting from the right side. He takes a strike. It's 0-1 to Lopez. Let me get back to the game we're at here. All right. And Cleveland did beat Detroit 2-1 tonight. They were in Detroit. So that was one of, I guess that was the first final here in the late games. We had a bunch of early games as well. Next pitch, he checks his swing and he hits the ball, so that will be a strike. But it's 0-2. Akin has 8 pitches. Lopez, the second baseman, is 1 for 3 tonight. He's batting .250 on the season for Miami. Here's the pitch from Akin. Swinging a foul back. Hits the screen, comes down. That'll definitely go into the collectibles authenticated area. In the bullpen for the Marlins is Scott. I'm guessing he'll be pitching in the ninth to close this one out. The next pitch from Akin. It's a pop fly to right. Underneath it is the right fielder, Kerstead, and puts him away. There's 2 outs now in the bottom of the 8th. And that'll bring up Xavier Edwards, who is 2 for 2 tonight with 1 run, 1 RBI, and 1 walk. Pretty good night for the shortstop for Miami. Up high and a little outside, ball 1. Edwards, I'm sorry. Edwards is batting .352 on the season. Next pitch, swinging a foul back. That'll make it the count 1-1 tonight. The next batter on deck, is Nick Gordon, the left fielder. Swinging a pop foul out of play down the first base side. We'll have to do it again. There's this mulligan. The count is 1-2. We're in the bottom of the 8th. There's 2 outs. The Marlins are batting. We're in Miami. The Marlins are leading 6-3. At the plate is shortstop Edwards. And pitching is Keegan Akin. Edwards hits it to the shortstop, who can't get the ball out of his glove initially. So Edwards is probably going to get an infield single for that. Gunnar Henderson fielded it cleanly, came to throw, couldn't get the ball out of his glove right away, or kind of fumbled it. And Edwards made it to first safely. So it'll be interesting to see if that's an error or if that will be a hit. And I'll be checking the box score for that because, again, I'm not watching the game. Looks like they're going to give him a hit on that from everything that I can see. Yep. I don't see an error popping up yet. I'm not listening to the game. I'm only watching it. So up the bat right now, pitch hitting. Vidal Brujan batting .231 with 1 home run and 11 RBIs. He takes a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1, bottom of the 8th. Brujan pinch hitting, Akin pitching. This will be his 16th pitch for the lefty. Swinging a ball down to third. Third baseman throws to Westberg, and that is the 3rd out. We're going to move to the 9th inning. Let me give myself a little 30-second break here, and I will be back on mic. We're going to move into the 9th. Baltimore will be batting. Due up for Baltimore is Colton Cowser, 2 for 2 tonight, batting .231 on the season. Then Cedric Mullins, 0 for 2 tonight, batting .214 on the season. Then Ramon Reyes, batting 0 for 3, or he's 0 for 3 tonight, batting .237 on the season. If any of them get on safely and there's no double play, we'll go to the top of the order with Gunnar Henderson, the shortstop, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Let's see where we're at. We're going to have a new pitcher. We're going to have a full sail change here for Calvin Foucher, who pitched the 8th. We'll have a new pitcher in the 9th, and that new pitcher, they're going to tell me in a second. Again, I'm not listening to the game, I'm only watching it. So, and a lot of the other screens I have on, like the ESPN, the Yahoo Sports, the pitcher is Tanner Scott. He's been in 42 games. He's 6-5. He has 17 saves and 19 opportunities. And I believe this is an opportunity with a 3-run lead here. All right. So he's a lefty. And there's some sort of stall in play. I don't know if I think there's a defensive replacement out maybe in left field. No. Dela Cruz, did they switch the left fielder and the right fielder? There's some switch here. So let me see what happened. I'll check. Yes, it looks like the pinch hitter Vidal Brejan will be in left field now. But it looks like he actually went to right, and they moved Dela Cruz, who was playing right, to left. Scott, the lefty, will be pitching here in the top of the 9th for Miami. They're up 6-3. We're in Miami, and we are just starting this. Austin Hayes will be the first up for Baltimore. I believe he's pinch hitting. Yes, Austin Hayes is pinch hitting for Colton Kaiser. The count now, my internet must be a little off. The count is 3-0 to Austin Hayes, who is pinch hitting, with Tanner Scott pitching in the top of the 9th. And he walked him. That's not what you want to do when you have a 3-run lead. You know, or if you're just trying to close out a game, you don't want to walk the first batter that you face, especially in the 9th inning. But we'll see. Maybe he can get a little lucky, get a strikeout, get a double play, something like that here. It doesn't ensure that Gunnar Henderson will be batting. Ryan Mountcastle now, who will be pinch hitting, steps in from the right side. So they're just loading up on the right side. He takes a ball inside. So you're looking at 5 balls in a row. Mountcastle is batting for center fielder Cedric Mullins, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Next pitch is low, but it's a strike. The count now is 1-1 to Ryan Mountcastle. All right. Runner on at first, top of the 9th. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Just like a ceiling fan, he went around and touched nothing. Mountcastle now, 1 ball, 2 strikes, top of the 9th. Miami leading 6-3. We're in Miami. Tanner Scott pitching for Miami, trying to close it. It's a little low. It is foul down the right field line. Foul, just foul. It was a low pitch, but Mountcastle reached in and got it. Sort of a pitching wedge kind of swing. It went down the right field line, but foul. So we'll have to do that all over again. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Austin Hayes is on at first. Ryan Mountcastle is actually pitch hitting for center fielder Cedric Mullins. So Baltimore having 2 pinch hitters to start this inning. On deck is Ramon Arias. Sorry. The pitch. Swing and a number to second. This is going to be 2. Throws a short and on to Bell. That's a double play. And that is just something awful if you're a Baltimore Orioles fan. With the first runner walking on 4 straight pitches, And then one of your more popular players, Ryan Mountcastle, hitting into a fairly easy double play. So you go from no outs and one runner to nobody on and 2 outs just like that. And Arias is up to bat. He's 0 for 3 tonight. So Baltimore has a long hill to climb if they want to even tie this game and get to a bottom of the ninth. But right now it looks like Scott is going to close this out with 2 outs now. The count 1-0. The next pitch up high, but he swung at it. It's going to be 1-1. We're in the top of the ninth in Miami. Miami leads 6-3. Tanner Scott on the hill. The lefty, this is his 11th pitch of the inning. Here it is, low and inside. It'll be 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. Ramon Arias is batting. He's 0 for 3 tonight, the third baseman for Baltimore. And here's the next pitch from Tanner Scott. Swing and a foul back. That makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Baltimore, is so many of those broadcasters like myself say, they're down to their last strike. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 2 outs. They're down by 3. This could be it. Here's the pitch. Swing, and it looks like it went out of play to the right, or to down the first base side. So Ramon Arias still hitting. And don't forget, tonight was that Charlie Hustle documentary. It's on HBO. So please catch that. We're going to be talking a lot about that. I'll be trying to watch that. Here's the next pitch from Scott. Swing and a foul down the third base side, out of play. Not out of play, but down the line in foul territory. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, lots of mulligans here. On deck is Gunnar Henderson, who is 0 for 3 tonight, but they even need another person to bat after Gunnar Henderson. So the next 3 people need to be on hit safely. Here's the pitch from Scott. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. And that's the game. Looking good, looking good. Miami wins 6-3 by the same score that they won last night over the AL East first place Orioles. So the Miami Marlins, who now go to, I believe they haven't updated this, they'll be 37-65, and Baltimore drops to 60-41. Again, please catch that documentary on Pete Rose called Charlie Hustle and the Matter of Pete Rose. It was on, or it will be on tonight at 9 o'clock. Actually, it's on right now. It'll probably repeat for the West Coast folks, but we'll be talking about that. We will have a show tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, or 6 p.m. Pacific. And that's it. Miami wins 6-3 against Baltimore. Thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow.